Okay, so after watching my first video, I do see that I have a lot of work to do, a lot. And that would include me not saying the word a thousand times in 15 minutes. I know that I annoyed the hell out of myself and I feel bad for the two people that watched it, but I will work on that. Anyways, in that video, I do say that I wanted to focus more on the fundamentals of AMC and the movie theaters and how we can make things better, of course. Those fundamentals would include getting people to want to go back to the theaters, right? To choose to go back to the theaters. And I think that's a very tough fight. It's a very tough fight. I'll give you an example. Take my fiance's dad, who's a great guy, and he loves movies. He loves movies almost as much as I do. He watches all the time. And if I ask him, he tells me, well, why would I pay for the movie when I can just wait and watch it at home for free? Which is the logic of a lot of people. A lot of people, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. Now, the same person we've invited to see some movies at our local AMC. That was Black Widow back in the day. We've seen Top Gun, of course, Avatar, and just recently we saw John Wick 4. All on IMAX, of course, with our popcorn and snacks. We have a blast. We have a great time because by the time it's over, we come out of the theater all charged up, just talking about, like, oh my God, did you see this and that? And I can't believe this happened and that happened. All through the ride home. It's the movie experience, right? Now take the same crew and we're invited to his home to watch a movie, and 10 minutes later, what happens? Right? I mean, I think we all know when things happen like that. It's like I have a stereo with my fiance and dad, and they're both sleeping, they're both snoring, and end of the movie. Now, you tell me, is there a difference in experiences, right? I see them. I think a lot of people see it. And so, if Wall Street has their way, they will take that experience away from us. And I, for one, don't want to see that happen. I don't want to wake up one day and read that, AMC or any other movie theater, for that matter, files for bankruptcy. This is what they do. They love doing this to small businesses or struggling businesses, and they won't stop. Now, on top of that, there's rumors that Amazon and Disney are out there hunting to buy out theaters. And I don't think we should want that either because I don't trust the corporations. I think that they control enough aspects of our lives as it is. And this will just give them another venue to control things and just shove their ideologies and their agendas on us. For all we know, Disney will force us to watch the Marvels and Black Little Mermaid for 3 months. Who knows? I don't want that. No, thank you. Anyway, let me change over to what I wanted to talk about, which is this great movie, Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, no spoilers. As I say, it's like no way, it's way too soon. But there are issues to talk about because, again, I want to focus on these things. And there's articles out and about, and of course, the directors themselves should kind of stick their foot in their mouth, saying dumb things. It's like, what are you doing? It's like you yourself are just alienating a lot of fans that would have loved to go see the movie. And I want to clear things up on that because I have seen the movie. Okay, so let me see. The first thing I want to do though is pump it though, because I did. We have seen it twice already, and I loved it, man. That's nerdgasm to the max. I think they finally pulled off a good Dungeons and Dragons movie. I mean, I believe it's been about 18 years since the last one. And for that matter, any fantasy style movie. Everything nowadays is usually superheroes or dramas and stuff. And I think we needed something like this. This was just fun. Yeah, funny. The visuals were amazing. I don't want to ruin anything about it. I mean, I just want to tell you, like, man, plot was great. The characters were great. And I would give you 2 points of view, really. Because take my girl, now we've seen Lord of the Rings, for example, and I've explained to her before the difference. There's cave trolls, there's orcs, there's goblins. These are all different things. These are all different things. And she'll look at me like, well, they all look the same to me. I don't know what you're talking about. I can be like, ah, man, okay, let alone try to explain what a mimic is or an owlbear might be. I'm sure she'll say like an owlbear, like how does that? Ah, you know what I mean? I'm a nerd, so I love this stuff. I Back in my day, I played Baldur's Gate and of course World of Warcraft and EverQuest and Ultima Online. I've been around, so this is something that I really always liked. Now, this past few months, that trailer has been playing before our movies, and of course, I always look at her and smiling, saying like, "We're gonna come see this, right?" And she always gives me like the slow look back, like, "I guess so." It's not her thing. It's important to say that because, yeah, I mean, we finally did see it 2 weeks ago when they released the pre-screening, so we saw it on regular digital screen. And when we were done, she had a big smile on her face, and the first words out of her mouth were like, "Oh, it's a lot better than I expected, that's for sure." And I was happy, very happy, because now I know it's the green light that we can come back and see it again on IMAX or Dolby. Because throughout the movie, I loved it. I loved everything about it. But all throughout, I kept seeing like all these action scenes. I said, "Oh man, it's gonna look so much better on IMAX." And that was my feeling. And I would give you like as a thumbs up. I mean, two things that I would say about it is, hey, the theater was full, and nobody got up when it was over. It was like, the good vibes when you hear people talking like upward. Everybody was happy. Everybody was waiting for the extra scene. That's always a compliment. It's much better than the silent, fast exit of theaters, right? And my number two would be that, yeah, I mean, as I was walking out, I was already hoping that there's a sequel on the works because to me, it was that good. It was that good. And yes, they can improve some things on it. And I would totally look forward to seeing a sequel already. Uh, okay. So, anyway, let me get to the important stuff on this. It's like back on the train of fundamentals, right? Now, so we did go to AMC and look at these puppies. Now, we're on the hallway when we came out of the movie, and it was an early showing too at 12. And we see this girl like holding two of these, and we're like, oh man, those are the new popcorn containers. We've seen them all. I mean, we've seen all the movies, so none of them really catch our eye until we saw this. 20-sided die, and look how awesome it looks. $35, and you think that's a lot. But of course, we ran over to the counter and they sold out. And that was, again, the early showing. And I was like, oh man, how can it sell out already? We even called three other AMCs that we would be crazy enough to drive to get it, and they all sold out. All of them. Like, damn. See, these are fundamental. These are things AMC, you got to work on things like this, right? Know your crowd, because nerds, we're always going to want swag. We're always going to want items and collectibles. So, and they're selling out so fast, that's a lot of money they lost out. They lost out on $70 that we would have spent because we were each going to get one. And you look at this guy, and you got to love capitalism, right? Like, even them, look at 30 bits, he sold it for $100. And yeah, I mean, hats off to him, smart, but AMC, we got to get on it. We have to figure out a way. Like, look, this is just lost revenue, not only from us, but we have to figure out a way to expand. And the AMC shop is also sold out. So again, we can't be throwing away money, right? Now, what I wanted to talk about on, let's say, things that come out before. These are dangerous things because, look, even before Dungeons and Dragons came out, Critical Drinker here, he's one of my favorite YouTubers to listen to about movies and stuff, but I never do before I see a movie because he is a harsh critic. But he's very good. He's very good at what he does. And you can see articles such as that, Drinkers Chasers, they emasculated male lead. And of course, that's Dungeons and Dragons. Look at this one not soon after. Willow's cancel, Dungeons and Dragons hates men. This here, oh, man, Disney, if you have brains, you would cancel this. You will cancel. I'm like the loosest, friendliest movie critic you can find, and I'm just not interested. This is just going to be bad. Anyway, there's a lot of narratives like that, and these articles came out, and I wanted to show you one that's very important. This guy's Joker from the Better Bachelor, who's another one of my favorite YouTubers to watch. This guy's top notch. I like listening to his cast, and he's also harsh. So I mean, it's not for everybody, but I would recommend you check him out. He's a smart guy, and he talks about young man and growing up and figuring out the dating scene. Not that I'm interested in dating, but I do like to know what's going on and how these things that are interesting for me to watch. But anyway, I want you to listen to this one because it's very, very important.
Came out and said it this time. They say, this is from CBR.com. Dungeons and Dragon movie intentionally emasculates its leading men. Well, shocking. Color me shocked. The Dungeons and Dragon movie writing team revealed they intentionally emasculated the leading men in the film and put women on the front lines. Well, wow. I just can't believe this. While speaking with Variety, Daly and Goldstein discussed how Michelle Rodriguez is Holga the Barbarian. Okay, so she's a barbarian. And Sophia Lillis's Doric the Druid tend to engage in the front lines of battle compared to their male party members. This was not an attempt at wokeness on our part. So they even know it's going to be seen as woke. And what happens? They still do it. They can't help themselves. They can't. The message. It's all about the message. And they, even though they know this might come across as woke, well, we got to do it. God forbid we actually have a leading man that's strong. She says, we liked that Holga is the bruiser and does the dirty work for Elgin, and he doesn't like to get his hands dirty. We also love emasculating leading men. But
Okay. You can see like there's a lot of sentiment like this that's realistic. And this is why I watch things or sites like him because I like to try and stay as informed as I can about yes, sentiment and what's going on with people around and whatnot. And this is true. This is something that, Hollywood being woke and every other agenda that is trying to push on us. Me having seen all the movies, I would say that yes, all this is true and I can understand why he's frustrated by it. And a lot of his site talks about things like this and toxic feminism and toxic things. Now, I want to disclaim this, since I have watched the movie, this is different. Like the director's messed up by saying this last line because
it's
yes,
not
I can
woke, we
agree. Oh,
promise.
excuse me. I can agree with what they say. It's like yes, the leading men are not the tough guys; they're not the top, but they're great characters. The whole movie is made in a great characters in good taste. There is picking on them, but it's not done in a toxic way. In fact, they all have to go through struggles to get together and figure out a way to pull this out. And they all have their flaws. This isn't what he's referring to, where there's a lot of toxic attacks on men, and a lot of times, I understand what he's saying. A lot of people see it that way. If the directors hadn't said this stupid line at the end, where we also love emasculating leading men, what do you think you're going to get out of that? If you don't know that Dungeons and Dragons, 99 out of 100 people that go see it would be men. If there were no relationships, the theater would be a sausage fest, right? I mean, it's our thing. There is some women who like it and love it, of course, but this is major guy thing, and we bring our girlfriends and wives and loved ones with us and kids. But by you saying something like this now, you're attacking a lot of people, and I will show you why. And this is true. Take some of his comments, for example. They're very toxic in a way, and they're defensive, and I can understand why. Hollywood has given us so much BS, so much forced feminism, and yeah, and things like saying you're not woke while behaving completely woke means you're still woke and a bad liar. He makes sense. Um, I used my white privilege. This is a good one. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Aliens was a really good model of how to have a woman take a leading role in action and not insult the audience. I 100% agree. And I would talk about this on another video because Aliens is one of my favorite movies of all time. Hollywood could vanish overnight and we'd be better off. Hopefully that happens. These are true sentiments. Like, no matter whether you agree or not, right? People are bitter, people are mad. And when they see things like that, you automatically start thinking, when a director is going to say something like that, you turn them off. You alienated at least 30, 40% of your audience. Once again, Hollywood is telling me to keep my money. They don't need it. Got it. No problem. And I watch to be entertained, not to be preached to. 100% agree. How can we disagree with people like this? They're upset, they're mad, even without seeing the movie. But that's a danger to us, right? Because look, potential customers. I'm sure if they went to see it, I'm very sure they would enjoy the movie. This guy wants to be entertained. I can't see a way where no, he's not entertained, but people are polarized. People are mad. People don't want to hear or be preached to and be pushed these narratives on us. Now, and this one is funny here. Like, looks like the writers are also emasculating their profit margin. Again, true. You're affecting by saying things like that. You're affecting your actors, everybody who worked on there, because the revenue is not going to be as good as it could have been. Um, you need to think things like that before you speak. This is the proverbial put your foot in your mouth and don't say stupid things. This is before your movie came out. So how do you explain it? I don't know. Now I will say, I don't agree with having this type of discussions like beforehand, because yeah, if you don't see the movie, you're reading an article and you have a lot of followers, right? You have a lot of influence and people will follow and will say like, oh, everybody's in a negative frame of mind now. Like, oh, we're going to see yet another movie where men are evil and stupid for some reason. And it can be explained and women are unbeatable. I will tell you, this is not that kind of movie. Again, I will ensure that yes, you will see that the guys are soft. They're the witty and they're the humorous type, but they're not done in a toxic way, not by a long shot. I'll give you an example of what is triggering them. We saw this crowd, and this is exactly what they're talking about. This is something I will highly not recommend, and I will give you spoilers. This is a complete craptastic movie. I mean, just to sum it up, good people like them are upset because directors like this guy, who I will never see a movie from again, ever, Paul Weitz, enter your typical bad looking white guy, old guy. You have two white women. This guy, movie starts with his wife dying, so they're mourning. They're in a funeral where these two come in and she wants to kill him. And that's all you know. It's like, wow, okay, he has no idea what's going on. He was happy to see her at first. And that's what the whole movie is about. It's like they want to kill him and they don't know. This guy throughout the movie, he's a father to this lady, and they have kids, and he's over there taking care of them and playing with the kids. You see nothing wrong other than him being a little harsh, like a little brash guy, like kind of a jerk. But you don't see anything about it, right? You don't find out till the end that supposedly he thought that they had an affair 50 years ago, and she claims he raped her, so that's why he wanted to kill her. The typical, bad white guy is bad because he's white. Obviously he has the perfect black boyfriend, this lady. And this guy's a stud. This guy's a great actor. He was good. He sold me. He's like, oh, he's pretty good. Great guy. But yeah, no, they couldn't have their marriage because she never let go of this. And that's crap. On top of that, they have this kid here, this boy, who for some reason goes to this lady's house who they have no friendship, no relation. But he wants to play dress up, and of course she helps him dress up into a little girl. And this is the dad. This woman gives him a pair of earrings to take home, and the dad wants him to return it. Of course, he kind of has to look like some kind of jerk, and this is the mom, and she's in a wheelchair for some reason, so it's maybe not to blame her for bad parenting. I don't know. But this kind of crap is what Hollywood wants to push on a lot of people, a lot of things. And this is what needs to just be off. I'm glad that we went to see it really because we have the A-list pass and we're like, go home, let's see, and maybe it'll surprise us. Maybe it's good. I didn't think it would be. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that only like 5 people saw it at that time and it's already off the theater. So um, this is important stuff to talk about, and we need to know like about it and see what we can do. And again, look up for reviews and stuff, and go show up for Dungeons and Dragons. Because if we want to see good movies, these are good movies. If we want to see more of that and be entertained, then we have to show support and go see D&D. I mean, when you see, where is my scene? Because this is just yeah, when you see this scene, like this one here, uh, don't tell me that doesn't tingle your nerd senses. I mean, it is every bit as good as that shows and more. Anyway, thank you.